Welcome to the Elliott High Network. I am your host, William Whedon. The Washington Teachers Union has launched a major initiative called Learning Doesn't Stop, Lessons on TV. Check out today's lesson from Mr. Raphael Bonhomme from School Within the School, who will be discussing addition and subtraction. Lesson 2 will be presented by Nadia Torney. Ms. Torney will be conducting her lesson on Nonfiction tests. Let's see what we can learn today.
That was close. Man. Hey, how's it going, everybody? I didn't even notice that you were there. I was just cooking some dinner, and it almost got burnt. But it's not my fault. It's my brother's fault. Now listen. I know that you may not even know who I am, so let me first introduce myself. My name is Raphael Bonhomme. And during this whole quarantine time, I've been cooking a lot. But I'm really a teacher. I'm a third grade math teacher. But today, I'll be teaching you a second grade math lesson. This is actually my third week being able to provide you a lesson. This might be your second or first time seeing me. Whatever the case is, I'm glad that you came to my kitchen. I have a lot of meals for you today. I know that you've been healthy, and I know that you've been hungry. So today, I'm going to give you what you need, which is a little lesson on subtraction. And listen, subtraction sometimes could get really, really spicy, but don't worry. I'm going to show you how you can use a number line and how you can use addition to help you out with subtraction. So you don't need to get scared about it. Don't worry. It's like getting in the kitchen. You might not be good at first, but you keep on practicing. You add some more spices, and it's going to taste great. Listen, let's really get started with work because we don't have that much time. And I want you to get full. I know that you're hungry for this. I know. I can smell it. Let's move a little bit closer to my workstation. Let me move my mashed potatoes over a little bit. All right. So our little warm-up question for today will be 46 minus 27. And as you notice, we had the W, which stands for whole, under 46. The whole number is the first number in a subtraction problem. People like to remember it as the larger number. 27 is the part. That's why I have the letter P. For any of my students, they know about labeling. It's very important to label your equations before you even get started with the math. But it's time that we get started. I'm going to write 46 minus 27. And I'm labeling it whole and part. So let's get started. First, I want to decompose. I love to decompose. It's good to have fun with math, play around with different numbers. There's a 7 in here, and there's a 20. So I'm decomposing the part. And as you notice, this is subtraction. We first start with the ones. I can't take away 7 from 6 ones. So there's something I have to do with this whole number right here, this 46, to decompose it. Watch what I do. I have to take that 6 ones out. The 6 ones I'm taking out. But I want to make sure I take enough that I can subtract 7 ones from. So I'll take out a 10. If I take out 1 10 from 4 10s, or 40, that means I'm left with 3 10s or 30. Check it out. Now I could take away 7, not away from the 6 ones, but 7 away from the 10 ones. So that would be my step A. 10 minus 7, and that equals 3. So I use that 7, I'm crossing it out, and I already used that 10. So it's really a 3 that's kind of left here. Now, step B. Only thing I'm left with in this part is a 20. You can't take 20 away from 6. That's not enough. We all know that. So I'm going to take away a 20 from this 30. So 30 minus 20. And that is 10. So I use that 20. And that 30 now became a 10. So as you can see, I used up the whole entire part. All I'm left with is a 10, a 3, and a 6. So I'll add those together to see what I'm left with. 10 plus 3 plus 6. 10 plus 3 is 13. Boom, boom. I'll bring down that 6. 13 plus 6. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. And that is 19. I always tell my students to circle your answers. And we always put crowns on ours, like the artist Basquiat. And there you go. That's just a little sample. Now, I'm going to put that sample away because we're going to get to the big entree, the main event, the main course, where you really have been starving for. What a lot of you might think is really, really spicy. And that is subtracting. Don't worry. We are first going to look at the equation 92, which is our whole, minus 58. And 92 minus 58, don't worry. 58 is the part, 92 is the whole. Like I told you, the strategy that we're going to use today is actually adding. And labeling this is very important. Because when we have a whole, we have a part, we're trying to find the missing part. But what I want to do is flip this into an addition equation. So then when I use this number line, I'm just strictly adding. Check it out. When we add, you have a part plus another part to get you the whole, which is 92. So this helps me out. This subtraction equation, I flipped it, and now I turn it into addition equation. And watch what I do. I like this color red. Let me stay with that because I know that you think this is spicy, but we're going to turn it mild. We're going to make this really, really calm. When we use a number line at a part, we're going to start at that part. 58. Part. And we're going to get to the whole, which is 92. Let me move my tea kettle over just a little bit. And I make sure that I label it because, ladies and gentlemen, it might be a little bit tricky to see, but this is the whole and this is the part. Now, I want to get from 58 to 92. How am I going to do that? Simple. If you were here last week with me, we talked about using a number line and friendly numbers, multiples of 10, how those help us out. From 58, I can add 2. Now, I'm at the number 60. From 60, what I could do is I could add a 10. Now I'm at 70. I'm going to add another 10 until I get to 92, which is the whole. Add another 10. I'm at 80. I add another 10. And now I'm at 90. I'm real close to 92. And as you can see, I'm only 2 away. I had to move my 92 over. But I'm only 2 away. So I went from 58, the part, all the way up to 92. Now, this whole entire area right here will tell me what this missing part was. Let me add that up. I have a 2 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 2. 10 plus 10 equals 20. 20 plus 10 equals 30. 30 and 2 equal 32. And then this 2 will add it to this 32. And that is 34. So that means that 34. 58 plus 34 equals 92. So that would essentially mean that 92 minus 58 is 34. Just to let you know, we're going to use a number line from 92 and subtract 58 just to double check our work. All right, here we go. So we had 92 minus 58. And let's see if I was correct about using addition to find that missing part. Because if I was correct, you could use this all the time. This number line strategy is one of the best strategies you could do. Use an addition to help you out. All right. Now, when we are subtracting using a number line, we make sure that we label it again. 92 is the whole. And we want to find that missing part. Up here. Sorry. And I'm going to subtract 58. But 58 might be a lot to kind of subtract, and it might be difficult. So I'm going to decompose 58. I'll turn it into a 10, a 10, a 10, a 10, a 10, and an 8. All right? Let's do it. I subtract one of those 10s. That's 82. Now, you may not have to take out these 5 10s from that 50. You might be able to subtract the 50 just all by itself. But I'm going to do it like this right now, just to break it down a little bit more. I'll subtract another 10, 72. Subtract another 10, 62. Remember, I'm just taking away a 10. I'm subtracting another 10, so I subtracted 10, 20, 30, 40. This is 52. Then I subtract another 10, and this is 42. So I use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 10s, and all I have to do is subtract this 8 now. All right? But I see a 2 right here. I'm going to take a 2 out of this 8. And if I take a 2 out of this 8, I'm left with a 6. The reason why I take a 2 is because if I subtract 2, now I'm at a friendly number, 40, which is a bit easier. I use this 2, and now I had to just subtract 6. 40 minus 6, you could do it in your head, but I already know it. It is 34. I put a crown on that. Now, as you can see, 34 is that missing part. Once again, that might have been a little bit tricky for you. You might have had more success with actually using addition to help you out. Ladies and gentlemen, we don't have that much time. Like I told you, our time is about up. And it looks like we have to go. See, my food is ready, my Haitian chicken, you know. I'm glad that you got to tune in and you got to see me in action. Once again, my name is Raphael Bonhomme. And if you want more resources, go to WTULocal6.net. I hope that you could go online, watch this video again, and possibly see me next week. Stay healthy and stay hungry. Have a good one.
Good morning, friends. This is Miss Torney with Torney's Task Table. I'm so glad to be with you all again. My second and third grade friends. Just like last week, we're going to take attendance before we get started. Do you remember what we did last week? I asked you, what's your name? And you told me your name. Then I said, how do you feel? And you told me how you felt. Are you ready? We're going to start again. What's your name? My name is Miss Torney. How do you feel? I feel terrific. What's your name? My name is Miss Torney. How do you feel? I feel terrific. Welcome back, friends. I see my Aiden and my Andres and my Almani is back. So is Denasia. And I see you brought some new friends. Jaden, I see you. Zamir and Carlos. Good to see you. Welcome back and welcome new friends. Last week, we did a lot of work on nonfiction text. So in our ELA lesson today, we're going to talk about, guess what? More nonfiction text. Yes. Who remembers what nonfiction text was all about? Right? Yes. If you said that, you were right on. Nonfiction text informs the reader all about true or real events, something that really happened, right? Because we know the other kind is fiction, which is true and real. Yes. And do you remember why do we read those texts? Oh my gosh, great answers. We talked about this last week. Lots of different reasons. This week, we're going to zone in on one particular reason. We're going to zone in on reading these different texts for all kinds of reasons, including discovering more new facts on a particular topic. And I have a new topic for us today. Not sustainable fish and not primates, but a new topic. I'm going to start out with a riddle, though. Let's see if that's going to help you. I have a friend with me. And you see my magnets up here? That might give you a clue, but I have a friend here. His name is Mickey. He's going to run into another friend. What does my friend Mickey say to my friend Binder Clip when they run into each other? Wait till you find out what they say. It's going to be hilarious. I think I'm a pretty good joke teller. You'll tell me later if it's a good joke. So I guess you know what our topic is for today, don't you? Yes, because you guys are so smart. It's all about magnets. And guess what I've been reading? Magnet facts. Remember last week when I told you I didn't know that much about basketball? Well, I was preparing to talk with you all today for this lesson, and I thought I knew all kind of things about magnets. But guess what? When I started to read about the magnets, I found out that I didn't know that much about magnets, and I learned all kinds of new facts about the magnets. Did you know that magnets are not attracted to all metals? Just some. Special classification of metals called ferrous metals. Yes, and magnets are also attracted to themselves. Can you believe that? Yes. And guess what? This blew my mind. We live on a magnet. Did you know that? What's this? Yes, it's the Earth. And guess what the Earth is? A big giant magnet. Yes, because at the core of the Earth is a metal, iron. That's what makes it magnetic. Absolutely. And magnets come in all different sizes and shapes. And we know that because we just discussed my little friend Mickey, who's a magnet, and Earth that is huge, which is also a magnet. Wow. I'm so glad I was reading my nonfiction text because I learned all kinds of new things right there. All right. So before we jump into our text, because we're going to learn all kinds of new words, I wanted to make sure that you saw some of our vocabulary words. So the first one is magnet. We talked about that, didn't we? Yes. You saw my friend Mickey. He's a magnet. Magnets do two things, don't they? And we know what they are. You can tell me. I hear you. Yes. They attract and repel, right? So what does attracting mean? Yes, they stick together, right? Or they stick onto a magnetic surface. What does repel mean? Yes, it pushes away, right? They don't stick on that surface or they don't come together. Those are two actions that we know magnets do. And what about magnetize? What is magnetize? Do you see my board here? Yes. So it looks like a regular whiteboard, But I found out that it is a magnetic whiteboard. It is magnetized. That's how my friends are able to be up here without me putting tape or glue on them. I just stick them up there because it's a magnetic board and it's magnetized. Pretty cool, isn't it? Now, my next vocabulary word is what? Poles. So we know about magnetic forces. And if we don't know about them yet, you're going to find out about them in your reading. Okay? So magnetic forces pull, right? So that's what puts our magnets together, the poles. And we know that that's part of attraction. How about the other? What's that opposite, the other word? When we talked about repelling. Yep, that's the push, right? The pushes. And depending on the strength of the magnet, it can pull or push something really, really big or something that's small. Yeah. And I also found out that magnets have poles, just like the Earth. It has poles, right? Magnets, north or south poles, or what we call positive and negative poles. That's what determines whether they repel or attract. My goodness, I did a lot of reading this week. It was so much fun, and I found out so much great information. In your reading this week, you'll find out all kinds of information about magnets because, again, we're reading nonfiction, and the purpose of this nonfiction we're going to discuss next. So last week, we talked about a different type of nonfiction. Do you remember which one it was? Yes, friends, we had a problem, right? And we had to talk about the solution. So, yes, our solution was to help with sustainability. Now that we are on to our next type of text, we're going to move up to the top of this and we're going to talk about descriptions. What do you think we're going to be describing? What kind of information are we about to collect? About what? Yes, that's right. You hit the nail right on the head. Magnets. We're going to learn all about magnets and we're going to get characteristics and find out all kind of descriptive things about magnets that are going to help us learn and understand more about them. Okay, so this particular type of nonfiction is description. Okay, it's all about descriptions. And you know what? We can use lots of things to help us describe. And many of those things are our senses. Do you see that on here? Our noses might want to smell our magnet. Our hands, we may want to touch it. Is it hot? Is it cold? Is it heavy? Is it light? Right? What else? Our eyes. So we're definitely going to read about our magnets, but we can also observe our magnet. What characteristics, what colors and shapes. Now, we have another sense, our mouths. But you know what? I don't suggest we use that to test our magnets, especially in the times that we are facing right now. We have to be very careful about what we put in our hands and mouths. So we're not going to use our mouths to find out any descriptive information about our magnets, okay? But we'll definitely use those other senses to help us. Now, the next thing is, remember last week we talked about some text features that help us with understanding what we're reading, right? What is it that we're reading? And different information that helps us with that are part of the text. So let's look, see what that is. Now, last week we talked about these different text features, right? Yes. So different text features, we have photos and illustrations. I think last time we talked about photos and pictures, but photos, photographs and illustrations. So the difference between those two things. Photographs you can take on your own, can't you? With your cell phones and your iPads and even your laptops if you have a camera. Illustrations, though, are a little different. although they still give us a picture. What's different about an illustration? Great answer. That's correct. Illustrations are drawings, right? So we have to actually drawing. And we know that oftentimes our authors are our illustrators for our text, but sometimes it's two different people. Okay. But either way, we get a really good picture that'll help us with our text. Then we have captions and labels, right? And what do they do? Who recalls? Good answers. Our captions and labels help us understand our pictures. And I showed you a few pictures today that had captions. And even our magnets, they had labels, right? To let us know. What was the labeling on that magnet? Do you remember? The poles. Yes, good. You are paying attention. I love it. I'm going to tell your teachers how attentive you guys have been on this lesson. So yes, our label, it labeled the poles. Awesome. And then finally, we have graphs and charts. Okay. You guys are going to fill out a graph and chart in this particular activity this week. And I'm going to be so excited to see what it is. I can't wait to see what you write. Now, remember, when we read, we got to remember to annotate our text, all right, by using all of these skills: underlining, circling, putting a question mark near anything we're not clear about, and using our notes, right in the margins. So you are all ready to start your work. So I'm going to make sure you know exactly where to find your work this week. All right, second graders, you're going to make a vocabulary list of all the words we used today around magnets. And I want you to go find a magnet in your home and test a few of your toys. Are they magnetic? Now, make sure you ask mom and dad if you can use their magnets, okay? Because mine are on the fridge. But I have to make sure that my children know to ask permission first. All right. And my third graders, you know where to go. Week 4, distance learning packet, ELA. The name of your text is Attractive Truths About Magnets. All right. Now, who remembers my riddle? What did Mickey Mouse say to my binder clip? Ha! He said, "You're attractive." Don't you like Miss Torney's joke? It was great. Of course, the binder clip was attracted to Mickey because Mickey's a magnet. Awesome. Love my joke. I know you think I'm a comedian, huh? Bye, guys. Share my joke with your friends. See you